Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another PGR reaction. Today we have Where Darkness Bears the Sun. I know it's been a while since I've done a PGR video. Just coincidentally, things keep getting in the way on the day I record this specific series. Could not tell you exactly why that is. It's purely coincidence, but I'm excited to get back into this. I see that this is a very popular video already, despite only being out for like a day as of recording. I happen to get to this extremely early compared to my usual stuff, which can take like a week or two before I cover it. So I'm excited to see what this has in store because apparently it's a video as well, not just music. So let's see what all that entails. And without further ado, let's go. Whoa, okay. Alrighty. Quality. I didn't know what to anticipate. I haven't really seen much PGR animated stuff, so.
Have you heard the lore telling about a time when the land was ruled by storms and covered with frosty white, to submit to the force having no spine?
I really hope the song doesn't get swallowed up by all the sound effects in here.
It's the swarm that holds the long night. No turning back, the vanquished rushed and roared, fighting to win or die.
Oh.
The purpose standing for the might. No more the stale, no more.
Ooh, they're really setting this up, aren't they? Wow. Ooh, okay, great cinematography. Great choreography on the fight so far.
Rising in the sky.
I saw impact frames. If you've ever seen my animation analysis stuff, you know how much I love those. It's the fucking narwhal, let's go! One of the few things I've actually experienced in the game so far. Hell yeah. So I got very hyped for that. This is exactly the type of song I would expect out of a project like this. She's okay. So I had to think back in the lore. I forgot about like the centaur people. It's been a few months since I played it. Damn.
When the blizzard crushes all unity, when the sins barricade our path ahead, it will tear through the mist and become the protector of our aspiration.
That's really neat. God, that sounded so good. It looked fantastic. Like, this isn't one of my animation analysis videos. I'm not going to be getting that deep into any of it, but like, damn, they did a really good job here. They did not need to go as hard as they did on this, but of course they're going to It's Kuro. They're a music company, as we all know. And I also love that they haven't like abandoned PGR because they've got another property. They've got Wuthering Waves. It's doing relatively well last I checked. I'm not entirely sure how it's doing right now, but like they do well over there too. So it's just weird to me that they are putting this much love into a game that is older and usually would be abandoned, or at least largely abandoned like many other companies out there. But they haven't done that, and I respect the hell out of that because you get amazing work like this out of it. Down to the animation, because like I said, I'm not going to be talking about the animation too much here, but they fucking nailed some of those visuals. It was so good. The way that they blended in just a little bit of mixed media into it as well. So you get a little bit of 2D, a little bit of 3D. I love it when people do that right. They definitely did it right here. Used a lot of my personal favorite things in there. I loves me a good impact frame. When it's done well, you can feel it, but you're not also seeing every individual frame because they're supposed to be there for impact. That's a whole other side thing though. Like I said, not going to get into it, even though my animator brain is vibrating right now. It's really, really nice to see that they're still putting this amount of effort into these things. And the song is the perfect energy for this sort of project. A song where narratively, clearly everything is on the line and somebody is putting their life on that line in order to save the people that they care about and trying their hardest to do so, despite almost losing. Obviously, they had a little bit of a struggle in there. I'm not sure about this character's lore. I don't know who she is. I'm still very new in PGR and I haven't played it in a little while, basically since I played it on stream. So I have a pretty big gap of like the lore and like new characters as they release because I don't get to see them too much. Once in a while I will pop back on, but I haven't like really played the game, and I usually stick story stuff to be stream only just so I can do daily stuff and not lose any of that fun and experience going through the story with the community as they watch. But again, all that aside, the song. Why did this song hit so well? One is the phenomenal vocal performance. She absolutely nailed this song. She sang it beautifully. It has such an amazing power to it. It feels like she is truly believing in the lyrics she's singing and about the emotion she's putting into it. And that's what you need out of a performer for a song like this. To be able to get these sorts of emotions across, you need somebody who can perform that emotion and make sure that everybody who's listening agrees and is like a part of that experience. You can't have somebody half-assing a song like this because there's way too many stakes involved. If you don't have that, then they're just going to be like, oh, I guess it's another song, and it's going to fall flat. That's happened a few times in PGR songs I've heard in the past where it just doesn't feel like it quite gets there. Most of the time, the vast majority of the time, they nail it just fine and there's no problems. But there has been once or twice where I'm like, it could have been better. This is not one of those times. She fucking nailed it. So fantastic work on the vocalist side. Brilliant job there. But also why this song feels the way it does. Why it has this uplifting energy to it that feels like it's swelling inside you the whole time through. So this song is definitely done in A flat major, a beautiful key, and it leans precisely into this sort of emotional swell that I mentioned, this sort of like melancholic yet bright and forward thinking sort of track, something that has that heroic bass line but can also be a little bit more melancholic. It doesn't have this limitation like some keys do where it can only be happy or only be sad, with very little flexibility in there. A flat major is a very flexible key, and it lends itself to this sort of feel really well. So if we just go up the scale here, it's just a really, like, you can do so much stuff in here. I think the core of this song kind of lands roughly around 3 chords in here, which would be this one, this one, this one. And these chords are weird to begin with because they're not standard chords. They're weird voicings of chords called slash chords. And what that basically means is a bass note over a triad, the core triad of the core 3 notes in a chord. Again, there's a lot of music theory here, and I'm not going to get like way into any of that, but specifically this one is A flat C, which again is just what I said, the whole bass line over the triad going on here. So if you just kind of separate that, you get that. The next one is an E flat, B flat, which again, just kind of another slash chord. All three of these are slash chords, by the way. It's just very weird. And then this last one is a D flat, A flat. And again, it's just the bass note over the triad above it. And usually those would be played with 2 hands. I was playing them with 1 just to kind of get my fingers in there. It's very awkward to play these with 1 hand though, especially if you're not like really focusing on it, so that's why I had to make so many cuts in there. But the point is, these are interesting flexible chords in here, and just another voicing of how to play some of these chords. They're not different from an E flat or a B flat in the example of that one, it's just another way to do it. You know, it kind of adds a different suspense to it, a different sustain, and it makes the whole song feel a little bit more open. There's more direction that the song can take when you have chords like that, and is really just down to the specifics of what the composer wants to do. I could be entirely wrong here too, because that second one, like I said, this first one, and then I was gonna go down to this, which is that other slash chord, but it could just keep the 1 note down, and then it becomes a C minor. So if we go, and that could also be the adjustment. This C minor in here is pretty common in songs like this because it's a great bridge, just like all of these other slash chords. There is so much music theory to this song, and it is frankly unnecessary. I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to be accurate on because I'm not a pro at the end of the day. I'm just using my ear. There's plenty of other options in this key. Of course, there always is. There's plenty of chords you can play within a key. Like an F sus, for example. There is so much flexibility and so many things you can do. There's an A flat, you know, just, you have so many options. And this song is using a lot of those options by what I think is utilizing those slash chords, because again, those really broaden the spectrum of where you can take the song. If you want to bring it into a relative key, doing anything like that, getting a little bit more fancy with it, there's a lot of flex in here. But at the core of why that's important and why that flexibility is so useful is because on the turn of a dime, you can make the song feel so much sadder or so much more bright and inviting, so much more grand and like bright future, you know, compared to like depression. So a song like this that's reflecting an animation like this and a story like this that has those moments that need to turn on a dime, that's when they're so important. That's when you use those sorts of things. Similar to that C minor potential in there, that is another one where it's like that note is what makes this whole chord here feel a little bit more bright, like there's still potential in there. It's just, you don't know where it's gonna go. It could be anywhere. So then there's a B flat minor. There's really so much flexibility in here, and there are so many options to take and places to go with this song. So again, having a song that starts in that like melancholic neutral ground and needs to build up all of this energy to swell it and make it feel a little bit more present, especially when you need to evolve to a point of pride, like when the song starts getting a little bit more boastful near the end and the energy starts to lift. You need to be able to take those turns and go where you need to go. So they really just nailed this one. I mean, I've been talking music theory here more than I thought I ever would with this song. This is a beautiful track. They, again, sang it beautifully, well produced. I have no arguments about any of the other compositional stuff in here. It was well mixed, even with the sound effects going on over it. The sound design stuff really didn't get in the way of the core of the song and the emotion that it was bringing, which is very important. You really don't want to drown any of that out, so they did a great job there. And visually, it's such a good animation. Like, I don't really know much of their animation stuff. I haven't seen many of them, maybe 1 or 2 really, so it's not something I tend to cover, but this seems like they're putting so much more effort into it than they probably have before. They probably want to bring this game back a little bit, you know, kind of throw a bone maybe, but also I feel like the team really does believe in this project, which is, again, pretty rare considering most companies tend to abandon their old IPs and just kind of go with the new thing. And I gotta respect them for doing that, and especially for making such a beautiful multimedia piece here. But I think I'm done yapping, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you have another thing you want me to get to from PGR, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!